Welcome back, our dear viewers, to this another international discussion dedicated to the forum, the International Online Forum that has been held on the platform of the Creative Society Project on April 22nd, 2023, Global Crisis, There is a Way Out. Today, we have amazing guests with us and my dear co-host, Alex, and we will discuss very pressing topics, I guess, topics of self-governing society and new technologies that can give us the opportunity to actually move to this, to make this evolutionary step towards building a better world, a sustainable world where we can all flourish, develop our potential, our skills, professional and personal, and live like decent human beings. That's what we all want, right? So right now, I would like to pass the floor to Alex so he could introduce our wonderful guests.
Yes, thank you so much, Kate. And exactly the world that we are all want to live, and that's why we are talking about it. And today, our guest from Australia is Jeanette Peterson, mindfulness writer, CEO, and strategist. Welcome, Jeanette.
Great to be here.
And Oleg Bukhvalov, transformation strategist and enterprise evolution. So also nice to meet you.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So it's really great honor to be here today and discuss it with you, like the world of our future. And we already prepared several forums, and the last forum that was on the 22nd of April, Global Crisis, There is a Way Out. So we discussed a lot of new things about creative society, how we can build it, how we envision it. Maybe you can share what impressed you the most and this forum, and just what stays in your head and what you like the most. So just give some examples about what do you remember, so the people who will never heard about it will have a grasp, what is it and how this world will look like.
So I watched the first forum and I found that I had lots of questions. There was lots that I really wanted to know and kind of understand. So watching the second forum, I found the best thing about it was there was a lot of clarity in kind of the depth that we went to. So the speakers talked about the economical side of it, which is where I get lots of questions from people, and also gave more detail about that plan and about how we can actually get from where we are now to where we could be. So they were the things, there were so many good speakers, but those 2 points really hit home for me because it gave the depth that I haven't seen before. So I've seen lots of organisations and lots of people talking about that they're not happy the way society is and the systems that we have in place for how we govern our societies, but no one's really coming up with an option except the creative society. And I think this is a great thing because it's completely doable and it gives us all an opportunity to participate in creating that together.
Oleg, and what about you? What was the information that impressed you the most? And just like Alex said, stays in your mind and that you would like to share with others?
To be honest, I was a little bit skeptical, in regards to the creative society formation, basically. And there was a lot of questions from me, specifically at the first forum, and I was trying to understand how it can be even possible to create such a society. And I discovered lots of answers in the latest forum, which opened my vision, opened my mind towards of this very interesting and compelling idea of creative society.
I just wanted to add a little remark that thank you guys so much for the fact that even though you had questions, even though there was some unclarity or something that bothered you, something that kept you skeptical, both of you, right, that you mentioned, but you didn't stop in that. You didn't say, oh, whatever, I don't like this information, or, you kept going. You invested your time into figuring out how it will work, what we can do, and you didn't just say, okay, I'll keep on living with my regular life. No, you were interested in the information and you dedicated your time to find out more. You dedicated your time to watch another forum, the latest one that happened in April, right? So this is really amazing example, because we see a lot of people also who might get a little bit skeptical, and then they're like, okay, whatever, I'll move on. But no, you invested your time, and this is already a great thing that you did. So thank you so much for that. And Sasha, go ahead.
I would like also just have a similar idea that it's actually great that you like invest your time into digging into this topic, because we also came to this understanding of creative society after a while. So right away, it's really hard to imagine things that you never actually seen in your life, never seen an example, because in the whole our history, we see only bad examples. I don't know, when you start learning about Sumerian times, old ancient Egypt times, like in the Europe history, some Asian history, like American history, you see a lot of examples that are not actually, does not represent what we have discussed on the forum, like free medicine, free education, and you just start calculating how is it possible, where the money will come from, and where are all these resources, how we can have as a humans this freedom. I mean, that's also it's not imaginal, freedom of choice, so you can do whatever you really, not whatever you want, but what you really get inspired from. That's exactly this feeling of freedom inside, because exactly even this freedom is also a concept that need to be, you need some time to adjust to it. So what I'm trying to say? What is in your opinion the freedom is?
To be honest, I think one of the fundamental and important part of the freedom is freedom which is basically a natural property of the society. So every society from the ancient times, it being formed as a group of people, basically. And initially, all those people were with kind of similar rights, and they were self-governed by the elderly people. And then those organized groups, they were interfering with each other, interacting, and creating a bigger sphere of social economical interests, So in ancient Greece, for example, where the first experiment of democracy was taking place, these self-governed society cells, they were quite successful, but why they failed actually is because of the communications technologies were not up to a required level of at that time, and so basically to exchange information between those groups and to make a decision in regards to a bigger kind of question, in regards to, for example, country related question, it was mission impossible. So this democracy model failed in the ancient Greece, and then democracy is a very interesting subject on its own, because of through all the times and through all the history, we're seeing attempts to create this kind of pure and true democracy models, and they all failing. And that's one of the points which I discover in the last forum, and what it was eyes-opening for me, because of obviously one subject, which is ability to communicate in real time between different groups of society, is all available now. So we have internet, we have mobile networks, we have all the devices and everything on our hands. But the other aspect of the society development and interacting is how to administer all those relations between groups, and in a bigger scale. It's almost impossible. And in previous times, they were requiring enormous government resource. Like for example, here in Australia, we have government growing and growing. They're creating new departments and subdividing those departments in smaller pieces. And it means basically government is quite kind of monstrosity. Which is require lots of resources, which is inefficient in creating required solutions. And the approach creative society promoting is completely different. There's no government required because of creative society would like to use artificial intelligence, which will do all those administrative tasks and subcommunications between different subjects of the government in almost instant way. The artificial intelligence are capable to provide advice and do even some low-level solutions to create an easy government technology and resource, which will be available for everyone to use, which was deal breaker for me, to be honest. I was not a believer in such society can be built and even possible, but now I'm seeing this concept and I can see definitely this is something which can be achieved.
Oh, for sure. And what I liked also in the forum, how the speakers mentioned that, okay, today we can use our cell phones, right? We can use internet to, let's say, vote for celebrities, buy something on the internet. We can use it to do anything we want. But for some reason, we're avoiding the fact that we can vote for our, let's say, representatives in the governmental structures, right? This is something like, okay, this is something wrong over here. So, using the technologies that we already have and thinking about the fact that what kind of technologies we can achieve in the near future by uniting scientific potential. Oh my God, I'm pretty sure this evolutionary leap will be tremendous that we cannot even imagine. And, the way how we can use these technologies to build a better world is just unbelievable. And Jeanette, what do you think? What is freedom in your opinion? And also, after that, could you please shed some light on the topic, like where will the money come from? Because you said that you're interested in this economic thing, and this is the question that people usually ask you. So go ahead, please share what is freedom in your opinion and the economical part a little bit as well.
Absolutely. Well, freedom is an interesting thing because, I suppose we all have our own view about what we call freedom individually, but it's really about freedom to make your own decisions, your own choices, and participate, right? So if you don't get an opportunity to participate in making decisions, people tend to not feel heard. Right? And people don't feel seen and don't feel like they've been engaged in part of the conversation to make those decisions. So freedom for me is the ability to get all the information that I need, so that transparency through the whole concept of the creative society is enabling you to make those free choices with the information that you need. And part of what Alex is talking about when he was saying about a society where we use artificial intelligence, well, that makes it so much easier for all that information to be communicated to everybody. So it gives me a chance to get the information I need. Now, I'm a writer, right? So I do a lot of research and I'm used to going and finding that information. A lot of people struggle with that. So a lot of people don't know how to do that. So to be able to have that kind of information at your fingertips and participate is incredibly important. But look, let's face it, when it comes down to it, people ask a lot of questions about finances and about how could we have such an economy, purely and simply because we're so embedded in the structure of the economies that we live in now. Okay, I live in what we call a democracy, but we all know it's not a democracy, and we're all trying to fight to turn it into a democracy. But basically, it's about capitalism. It's about purchasing, and it's about people making money And when we do that, we then rely on certain systems economically to make that happen, right? Now, we have all kinds of problems in the current environment with inflation. People can't afford to pay their bills in so many places, and people are struggling. But the vast majority of the money in our economical systems is made up. It's just a number on a page, right? That if we all went to banks and we all tried to draw our money out of our bank account at once, there isn't enough money in the world to pay us. So it's the numbers on a page. So you can have that in any system. You can determine how much that you want. And the thing that was really interesting that sometimes people ask me is about the $10,000 basic income. Now, for some people, that is a ridiculously large amount of money a month. There are some people living in the world that will make such a big deal to them. And the thing that excites me about that, from not just an economical standpoint, it means that it'll be easy for us to create the amount of money that would be needed in a society, because we are empowering billions of people who have no power. And when you do that, those people will want for things that they couldn't have before. So you create so much capability. And I know that that was talked about in the forum. So I get excited when I think about how people's lives could not only change by having that basic income, so all their needs will be met, but I think about the people whose needs aren't met at the moment and they're not working at their optimum. So when people get their needs met, can you imagine the level of capability that is untapped in this world? And if people can see their way through what these financial systems could look like, and let's face it, the average person doesn't know much about the financial systems that they're working in already. So for people to say, but how could that work? It's like, my common response is, well, most people don't know how the current system works. So of course it can work, because we can make it work because we're doing it together. And when people say to me, well, this system is utopia, and how do we possibly get there? Well, it's just because, and I can only count for the Australian market, but we're quite skeptic here. And so we tend to think that we're so ingrained in things being difficult for such a long time that we think everything is potentially utopia. And it's not utopic. It is perfectly doable and it can completely happen. And the beauty is we get to do it together, right? We can learn from all the mistakes that we made in past systems of governance, and we can make it better together with so many more people living in their true potential and bringing forward their values and their ideas. The sky is the limit to me. Because I'm a mindfulness writer, I think about this and I think of the untapped potential that we have in the world. And if we could tap into that for individuals, not only do they value, but as a society, we are going to value tremendously.
Yeah, exactly. I have also the same feeling when I'm thinking about creative side and about this unveiled potential that it just folded right now, and that we all can unfold it. We make some obstacles, all the things that I'm thinking about. It's only how to survive next day, where I can get money, how I can pay out bills, if they already have some credits and stuff, and they don't even have time to sit and have this idea that something is wrong and that I can change something. They only all the time thinking about the issue they have and all these living conditions problems. And we exactly want to empower these people. It's you also I like your words about and your vision that we together can create such a conditions, and only we can do it. We can only do it together. And that's coming to idea also what Alex have mentioned, these technology that actually right now it allows us to create such a system where each of us have a power of voice. So the power will belong not to a group of people, but to everyone. And it's a game changer. I don't like this example that we already have, like there are such examples in the world, but still there are some obstacles, and not the whole world living by these rules. You read in any main law that power belongs to people, but in reality, you'll see here obstacles, there obstacles. You're not allowed to do that, and etc. Of course, there should be like some, because sometimes people think, oh, I can do whatever I want. Whatever you want, but in a regulation that will not harm to other people. You can make life of other people better. That you have freedom completely, like without any obstacles. You can create new things, like make the quality of your products better and the price cheaper, but not the other way around, not harming and something like that. So it's comes to the topic of self-governance, and I think we have prepared a video, Kate, right?
Yeah, sure. That's what I just wanted to mention, that we have a little excerpt from the forum, the video on the topic of self-governing society, how to achieve it, how to build it, what it's going to look like. And right now, we would like to suggest watching it so that our viewers could get a little understanding or a little more understanding if they haven't seen the forum yet, or they did watch it, but let's say forgot about it, right? So let's watch the video and then continue our discussion.
Self-governance of society means that we, as community, decide by majority vote whether something will take place or not. Self-governance is not the absence of management or competent planning, but rather it's the absence of authority, although its function is equally shared among all people. Voting for a project becomes the right of every adult on the planet. And the advantage is that people themselves aspire to improve the living conditions in society. It becomes a crime to change something in people's lives without asking them. To exercise people's authority, we use such a tool as the electoral platform. It is essentially a website that allows people from all over the world to adopt decisions transparently and quickly. If a global issue is submitted for voting, people from all over the world must participate in voting. If an issue is local, then residents of a relevant territory whose lives are affected by adoption of this law must vote. For example, if there is a village issue, it is resolved in the village. If an issue is regional, it is resolved in the region. Thus, there is local self-government as well as global that applies to the whole world. Each law proposal is written in a language that is simple and understandable to people. Experts should prepare a draft law and explain what the expected results would be, the pros and cons of its implementation, what will change for an individual, and how the law will affect his life. Then the draft law is submitted for general voting.
A new global law proposal is up for a vote by humanity.
What is this?
Read out the draft law.
Global law proposal on introducing fuel-free power generators worldwide. An FFG is a device that enables you to generate electricity without the use of power plants or any other energy sources or generators that exist today.
Read me the pros.
Do you want it in brief or in detail?
Tell it in brief. Take into account my preferences.
In brief, an FFG will ensure everyone's energy independence. That means you will never have to pay utility bills again, and your favorite matcha tea will become cheaper. Just like all the other goods and services, because there will be no electricity charges. FFGs will also benefit the environment. Taking into account your hobbies and preferences, your biggest benefit from implementing FFGs will be that you won't have any need to fill up your car.
Okay, I vote.
You cannot vote before you listen to a detailed version of the law proposal with a description of all the pros and cons, as well as the expert opinion.
Okay, read it then.
Pros. Energy independent.
All processes will be transparent, and as a citizen of the world, you will be able to control any voting process, whether your vote was registered correctly or not. Moreover, it's important to understand that the electoral platform is easy to use, intuitive, and technically protected against any intrusion and forgery, thanks to a reliable and secure system of data collection and processing. The self-governance procedure is clear and understandable. It ensures order in decision-making and control over quick execution of decisions. Moreover, self-government eliminates any conditions for corruption. There will be no one who can be bribed because there will be no individual on whom decisions depend. Everyone will be equally able to participate in managing society's affairs. No one will have any privileges or immunity. People themselves will decide where to allocate their resources and will jointly control how they are being used. It will be very easy for any person to submit an initiative on their own on solving one or another vital issues. An initiative is verified for consistency with the 8 foundations of the creative society and submitted to the general public. If people support the idea, then experts get involved and prepare a draft law for voting.
Yeah, like
it's interesting. If I may highlight a couple of things. So first of all, every time I'm watching those videos, there's some new aspect of things coming up, and just watching this video in particular, I just want to highlight quickly 3 aspects of what we watch. One is why such systems are not possible to implement in the current countries and the current governments because of the security issues. So basically, if any of the voting system or any of the voting platform will be implemented by the specific government, there will be lots of players which will try to knock it down or bias it in a specific way. So it's almost mission impossible to create a reliable and secure platform for the voting and making decisions. First. Second is a very interesting aspect of the artificial intelligence, which is probably very interesting in the way that majority of people right now, they're not happy, they're scared about artificial intelligence upcoming. And the reasons for that is, first of all, it can create a new layer of control on their private life. And second is, it can be taking their jobs away. So in the creative society, bringing an absolutely different way those artificial intelligence systems will be used. So basically, the problem with the current artificial intelligence development is it can be biased and it can be manipulated and it can be used in interest of specific groups. While in creative society, the whole point of artificial intelligence is to use for the entire society. So there's no need to hide or to secure any information practically, because of obviously this is the worldwide and system for all people, which is a very interesting thing. So basically, right now we care about artificial intelligence coming up, and in creative society, it's absolutely opposite. It's absolutely welcome system, because of it will help with every aspect of being. And the last thing, this incredible energy generator, and which is remind me thousands of patents being held in secrecy by different governments, different corporations and organizations. Because of those patents can break the economical success models. And for example, even this energy generating device, if this device will be released by any party in the world right now, it will break the entire global energy distributors and energy producers systems, which will knock down all their profits. So no one interested in allowing such technology to come onto the market. And in my opinion, the entire system of patents and keeping all those regulations around development is a subject of bringing us the entire civilization development back in time. It's not allowing progress of things. Thank you.
Yeah, it's like very important topic that you brought up, this social security and, this fear of people that to lose their job, like to, they sometimes have a lot of doubts, like whether it's possible or not, like, and this total control of artificial intelligence, because we are thinking about a lot of things out of perspective, like from our own experience, from perspective of people who live in consumerist format.
I just wanted to mention that this is pretty reasonable fear because, we base our expectations on the experience, as you said. And the only experience that we had, we as regular people, is that, the development of technology, yes, it might improve our life on one hand, but on the other hand, we see that it's, just putting more control over people, putting more control over our desires and stuff, right? Like this commercials, advertisements, and things like that. And people are really scared about that. But the thing is that they don't think in the paradigm of the creative society, right? They think in the paradigm of the consumerist format of society. So this is the little shift that we need to make to allow ourselves to kind of like open our eyes, think outside of the box, think about the fact that, technologies can really benefit us and work for us, not other way around. Yeah. So thank you so much, Alex. And thank you, Oleg. Actually, the funny thing is that when we were watching the video, me and Alex were chatting like, oh, we need to start the topic of fuel-free generators. We need to talk about that. And there you go. You're just, the video just ended and you started talking about it. It's just, really good to be on the same page and the same line. So thank you so much for bringing that up yourself. And Janet, what do you think, like the fuel-free generators, this enormous amount of energy, what kind of perspectives can it bring us? What kind of new benefits, new opportunities will it give us as humanity?
And how to make this paradigm shift? Like,
oh, yeah, for
absolutely. Sure. So, from a collective perspective, if you think about, I've been an environmentalist supporting the environment as long as I can remember from when I was a child. And it's interesting because if you think about it, it will save us stopping arguing about which energy is better and one person competing against another person about needing to make more money. So it's once we live in a creative society, all these things are possible because it's all for us collectively, and that we can stop wasting all our energy and effort on competing and start putting our energy and effort into growing as individuals and achieving the best things that we want to achieve personally in life and being able to focus our attention. So I think people just don't quite see something as simple as, free energy as being so significant, but it is an absolute game changer. And the reason a lot of people think about it, they say, wow, free energy, then I could finally afford my bills. But they're thinking about it in the context of the life that they live in, which is completely irrelevant, because this is the whole basis of why we need the creative society, is because the base platform that we're trying to grow on as individuals, expanding through technology and doing all these things, aren't working because we have the wrong base. So once we get to a better base, then all the other things will come into play, not just fuel-free energy, right? All the amazing other things. It's kind of the tip of the iceberg.
And I also would like to add a little kind of highlight on this free energy generating subject. So basically, development of technologies and the development of any economies worldwide, they're dependent on the energy, and majority of the new specifically developments, like including artificial intelligence, which require data centers all around the world, they're consuming quite a significant amount of energy. Like some of the data centers consuming energy equal to consumption of small countries. So without this energy, required level of energy, there's almost impossible to develop technologies in the new way, in the new scale. And this is something which is a really a bottleneck right now for the technology development. And again, talking about free energy, which is all around us. So basically, the universe, it's energy and matter. So basically, this energy, it's everywhere. It's just for us, it's important to catch it, and transform it into, for example, electricity, or into heating, or into light, or any other kind of energy. And those technologies, they long time developed. For example, Tesla development, Nikola Tesla, or any other scientists related to radio waves developments, they all know that there's a lot of energy around us. It's just a way of creating this energy catching kind of devices, which can catch this free-flowing energy and transform it to electricity, for example. And those technologies, I believe, they already developed. It's just those technologies will, again, take a significant amount of profits from the current electricity production or electricity delivery companies, and that's the real reason why those technologies not available.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Just, like this paradigm thinking, like the way how we actually comprehend things and how we think about that. Because, like when Tesla, for example, he presented his inventions to his sponsors, like the people who sponsored him, they were shocked. So you invented something that bring free energy for people, and how we'll make money, like how my grandchildren will live, and etc. So the corporation will just break out, and a lot of things might happen. And when we also think about it deeply, like in our current format, like free energy will just eliminate like the whole energy system and the whole energy branch. And there are, I don't know how many millions or maybe billions of people are there, because like the way, like how the whole civilization, and you are absolutely correct in that, like everything stops with energy. And right now it's impossible. That's why the inventors are hiding. And the other things, like even like some like things that are invented are not shown to the public, and they're like someone trying to assemble something in his or her garage, like trying like not to be exposed, or like making videos, don't put in their face like in the camera because they are afraid of their life, and it's completely agree. But in creative society, they will have not only a place where they can work, right? It will be an honor actually to develop something that way make our life easier. And even right now, it's very important that such kind of scientists, they can really show their inventions and tell that they will be happy to make it as a gift for the whole humanity, for the whole society. That just come and say that I understand that creative society is a solution, so please just let's do it, let's build it. And like the only thing that stops us from having it already right now, like having creative society right now, is informing people, like how we inform. And when everybody will be aware of such possibility, everyone want to live with it, everyone want to live in such kind of society. And that's what we'd like also to discuss with you, like how to inform people fast and like make it in such a way that like everybody will understand this necessity and shift the paradigm of thinking. Like, how do you do it personally?
I can go first if you like. So I just want to say something further on what you were talking about, Alex, because it's a really interesting thing that you were saying about invention. And so invention, or being an inventor, is a kind of wisdom, a kind of knowledge that's gained and that's shared, right? So if you look at invention through the eyes of wisdom, whether it's through spiritual teachings or other things, no one ever produces something at one moment in time for the desire for it to be like that forever, right? So we're using the same electricity model that we've kind of used for seems like a ridiculous amount of time. And this is something that I commonly have conversations with people in life around mindfulness. So often what we do in society is we get something, we find a way to monetize it, and then we just stick with that forever. And we kind of block that creative flow of invention that could take us to the next stage. And it's just the same as blocking the creative flow of knowledge and of wisdom. If you imagine from my perspective from yoga, so if you think of Patanjali, when, he wrote, when they spoke before they even wrote some of the words of the Yoga Sutras, like 5,000 years ago, they weren't writing it for 5,000 years on. They were writing it because it was relevant at the time. And we need to move and progress as a society. So we need to look for new ways. So invention is critical in the way we grow, not just as a society, but grow as individuals. And people often say to me, oh, I'm not creative at all. It's just because they're living in a world where they're stifled. Everybody is creative, and we'll see that just naturally flourish in people once some of these obstacles start to be removed. And so it makes it really easy for me to have conversations with people about it, and even start conversations through social media around it as well, is because we're all having the same problems, right? And we really all just want them solved. And so I tend to come at people where they are and where the problems are in their life, and use an understanding of where they're stuck or what's not going well in their life to explain how something like the Creative Society could actually help them to solve those problems. And I find it really quite easy to engage with people that way. And when I started doing that, I just saw so many problems. It's just because everybody has problems in dealing with different things in their life. And if they realise that there's potential in something like the Creative Society to create solutions to some of those problems for them, that makes it particularly enticing and easy for them to then continue on that process and to share that with other people.
Oh, thank you so much, Jeanette. And what I wanted to add as well is that we're talking about the Creative Society like it's going to be, but the fact that we as volunteers of the project already contributing our time, our knowledge, our experience, right, into building this project, into building this beautiful, amazing world, we already kind of unlock our creative potential. We already do the things that we, let's say 5 years ago, would never even thought in our best dreams that we could do, right? So the thing is that even the process of building the creative society already gives you this huge impetus for exploring yourself, exploring your creativity, giving it a way to, just go into this world, flow into this world and inspire others. So this is actually, amazing process of self-development while building a better world, not just for yourself, but also for others, for future generations to come. And thank you guys so much for contributing to your time, contributing your efforts, your knowledge, everything that you have into actually making this happen. And yeah, the same question I would like to address to Oleg. What are the ways how you inform people about the creative society, and what, in your opinion, we can do to shift this paradigm of consumerist way of thinking, consumerist base that we were born into the creative society, into the creative format of thinking and creative format of communication, of interaction with each other?
Yeah, so basically keyword of this approach should be communications. And we have lots of different groups, social groups, social economical groups around us, which have different interests, different development stages, and I think, first of all, I think we need to create personalized messages to those people around us, So basically, sometimes I can see some struggles, people have in their lives, and I can just refer that building something which is completely different to what we have right now can be a solution for us. The other aspect is, of course, we living and creating this life around us in the purpose of engaging into future development, through our kids and creating something for our kids and for future generations. It's another aspect. Another aspect can be also that we have this climate change and all those emergencies around it, But for example, no one talking about seriously about polluting with microplastics, oceans with microplastics, and it's creating enormous effect of the heat exchange, and all other aspects in ecosystems, energy systems around the Earth, So those social and groups, and so those scientists, they can be involved into discussion. And of course, the other priority is here in Australia, we have Aboriginals whose civilization encountered at least for 67,000 years, and they have been developing quite in slow pace, not this technological civilization. And there was a big disruption. So British coming here, and then later Europeans, they bringing their technologies, and they really affecting Aboriginals' lives here, and not always in best way. But those societies, they should be also included into developing this creative society, because they are incredibly creative, and they are more attached to nature than we are. And this is another group which is extremely important for creative, holistic kind of creative society for us. And of course, kids, and schools, universities, and even kindergartens. Those ideas of creative society is something which is really, I think, resonates with them, because of they are on the age of development, and they're more creative than us, So this creative society will resonate with their heart more than with adults even. So those kind of my visions of things. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, just it's remind me when we have talked with Jeanette about the money and how it's originated. Like as a kid, like it was mostly like 12 years old, or I was 12 around. I found this movie about like how the money are made of, how they originated, these ideas, like how the inflation originated. It was so interesting, and now I like to understand, because then you will start thinking out of this perspective, and you look to the world, like how it all works. And if you have all this openness and freedom of information, right, like the thing, like how it's the whole society is structured, like how we can ourselves influence it, right? And it's the possibility that it's possible, and with the help of technologies, with the help of self-governments, and we can shape our world as we want, because the power belongs to people. It's stated in every main law, and it's exactly like it gives such kind of freedom of thinking, and you start thinking, okay, what I can do, what can be my part in it. And of course, in our consumers format, you have these restrictions. You not have enough money for the college, and you would like to study medicine, for example. But no, you instead of these go and do something with hands. You don't like it, and the whole life start, like be not as creative as you want, but we can change it. And it's really, everything is in our hands, and we need to understand it and just start talking to other people, because it's our chance, it's our solution that we have, it's our way out. We just need to start acting.
Go ahead,
So
Jeanette.
everything starts with a dream, right? So all you have to do is start in the beginning and dream of something different. And there's nothing wrong with having a big dream, right? And then you take the steps, just like anything else, in working your way towards it. And we had a conversation the other day with a few people that are active in Australia in the creative society, and we were talking about this, and a penny really dropped for me, because people often say, oh, so when we get into the transition phase, we'll have this, we'll have this, we'll have that. But we won't have to worry about how to build it by the time we get to the transition phase, because we will have already done it. And this is what we're doing now, is part of building. So, dream. What's wrong with dreaming big? We can have all of those dreams. We live in a world that treats things as finite, but in reality, the world is infinite. And if we can extend our thinking to be infinite instead of finite, then we'll really open ourselves up to what that creative society means for us, and what being creative means not only for you as an individual, but what you can bring. And when people bring things to their community and their society, they flourish, and they feel needed, they feel important, they feel like they're providing input. And a lot of the problems that we believe exist in society today will honestly just disappear, because people will feel engaged, and they'll feel important, and they'll feel seen and heard. And when you get an opportunity to participate, we see it in work, we see it in school, you always flourish when you get to participate. So that's the first step, is participate.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jeanette. And, actually, you mentioned about dreaming big, right? The bigger dream you have, the better results there will be at the end, right? And I had a conversation the other day with one lady, and she said that she was talking to one of her friends, and she asked him, what is your biggest dream, or what is your goal in terms of implementing some kind of project? And the guy answered that, oh, I would like to build a shelter for homeless people, or shelter for, let's say, animals and stuff. And she's like asking the question, why do you want to build just one shelter? Why not build, let's say, 1,000 shelters? Or why not build a shelter like in every country, in every city, and stuff like that? And the guy actually started thinking like, oh my God, we ourselves limit us in our dreams. And, and basically the huge potential that we have, the huge knowledge base that we already possess as humanity, we can use all that to build a better world. We can use that to create conditions to eliminate the necessity for shelters for homeless people or for animals, right? We can create an amazing future for every person on the planet Earth, giving them the opportunities and possibilities to unlock their creative potential, to give them the opportunity to develop. And this is what we're doing right now as volunteers of the Creative Society Project. And thank you so much, guys. I know that we can talk for hours, but our discussion has to come to an end for today. But please don't hesitate to spread the word, spread this message with every person you encounter, with every person you communicate to, because the faster the whole humanity will find out about the Project Creative Society, the faster and the sooner we will build it all together, because it can be built only by peaceful means and only together as whole humanity. Thank you so much, dear Oleg. Thank you so much, Jeanette. And thank you, Alex, for this amazing conversation. I really enjoyed it. And I'm pretty sure our viewers did as well. And thank you, of course, to our technical support team for making it happen, and to our wonderful interpreters that will interpret it into all sorts of different languages so that people could hear this vital information. So thank you again to everyone, and we'll see you in the next discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you.